From Washington, this is VOA News. Coming up, help for Gaza as it rebuilds from weeks of war. We'll also have the latest on the Ebola outbreak. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Norman. Countries from around the world have pledged $5.4 billion to help rebuild the Gaza Strip, portions of which were destroyed in the 50-day war between Hamas militants and Israel in July and August. Norwegian Foreign Minister Brende said Sunday that there are many legitimate questions about why donor countries should once again pick up the bill for rebuilding what warring parties have torn down.
We have not forgotten the issue of a two-state solution. It is back on the international agenda, and there is now a political momentum built up to pressure the parties to get back to the negotiating table.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry announced an immediate American donation of $212 million on top of another $202 million in humanitarian aid the U.S. had already committed. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said the world community has clearly recognized the massive needs in Gaza. Medical workers in Liberia are set to go on strike over a pay dispute today, a move that could deliver a serious blow to the fight against the deadly Ebola virus. Meantime, a nurse who treated the first person to be diagnosed with Ebola in the U.S. has contracted the disease. Her patient died last week, the nurse in stable condition on Sunday. World Health Organization says Ebola has killed at least 4,000 people. And at least 10 people have been killed. It happened in a car bomb in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Another 15 were reported wounded by the explosion blamed on al-Shabaab. This is VOA News. Officials in Iraq's Anbar province say Islamic State militants killed the provincial police chief there in a bomb attack happened Sunday. Edward Uranian reporting now from the VOA Middle East Bureau.
Iraqi officials in both Baghdad and Anbar province are sounding alarm bells after a bomb attack killed the provincial police chief. Anbar Council Deputy Head Falah Al-Isawi warns that 80% of the province is now in the hands of Islamic State militants and that the entire province could fall to the group within 15 days without reinforcements from Baghdad and more coalition airstrikes. Edward Uranian for VOA News, Cairo.
Pakistani airstrikes killed at least 21 militants in their hideouts Sunday in the northwestern tribal areas bordering Afghanistan. According to the Pakistan Defense Forces, 2 militant hideouts were destroyed. 3, their claims could be independently verified, could not be, as journalists have been limited to their access to the tribal agency. Pakistan's army says it has killed more than 1,000 militants, lost 86 soldiers since the start of an operation against the militants. Pro-democracy protest leaders in Hong Kong have vowed to continue their occupation of the city's streets after the Chinese territory's leaders soundly rejected their demands. Hong Kong's chief executive also called their movement out of control and said it could not last very long. VOA's Daniel Scherf reporting from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong protesters Sunday voiced defiance after Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying said there was zero chance of meeting their demands. Hong Kong's Beijing-approved leaders said China would never rescind its decision against open nomination of candidates for the chief executive post. Lester Shum is the protest leader.
What CY learned, the chief executive said, showed that the Hong Kong government still refused to take the responsibility to face the political issue caused by the Hong Kong government.
Hong Kong is to hold a much-anticipated first direct election for chief executive in 2017, but China's National People's Congress in August set out a plan that allows Beijing-leaning officials in Hong Kong to choose the candidates. Daniel Scherf, VOA News, Hong Kong.
Typhoon Fongbong weakened to a tropical storm Sunday after racing northeast over mainland Japan, injuring more than 30. It had been more intense, a tropical cyclone this year, the most intense. Some parts of the western areas of Japan's 4 main islands were forecast to receive more than 50 centimeters of rain. Flight and train disruptions were expected to continue through Tuesday as heavy winds and rains from the typhoon reached Osaka as well as Tokyo.
That's the latest world news from VOA.